What really happened on the flight 370? So we asked the higher realm because we cannot get that true information from the media. The media is controlled by powers that be, the dark forces. This is how they kept us blind for thousands of years. The power of the information is kept from us because if we know, then it is game over. Again, we are all children of God, attending a school of wisdom here, called polarity integration. This way we will find our godhood, our true powers, and return back to our godhood. The teachers that we chose are the dark forces, are called, they are not really demons or devils, but they are just another race in the cosmos. Yes, it's time for you to know we are not alone. We are many factions of races, energies. Everything is energy. You as a soul are energy. Energy needs commands. Energy follows thoughts. So the teachers that we call the dark forces here, or they are really reptilians. We had created our curriculum and what they can do to us, so we signed that contract a long time ago so that we will graduate. So do not be angry. Time for you to know you had created this reality so that you will arise from that problem, learn a lesson and wisdom. Again, let me go back to what really happened, because so many questions. What really happened on that plane? It says here, it is not known by the majority. Indeed, very few know that the Russians and the Chinese have developed a missile of such superiority that it was and is a huge threat to the powers that be, to America and Britain. That this missile is called the Topol missile, and it was capable and is capable of flying at Mach 4, 10 feet above the ground. It has a target range of 2,000 miles, of over 2,000 miles, therefore can be launched from deep inside China or Russia, and that it carries a very potent warhead, nuclear in nature. This weapon was tested several days ago with Putin, remember that? And it landed precise location in Kazakhstan before the disappearance of the Malaysian airline. So this was a show off of power by the Russian to the Western powers, the hidden powers, the powers that be, the elite groups, the hidden cabal, which, by the way, our United States of America have two governments. It's time for you to know that there are two governments of the United States of America. The true government is called the United States of America Republic, the government of the people, by the people, which, by the way, is a very lame power government. Our president, we elect him as the president of the United States of America Republic. However, there is a powerful government, it's called the secret government, that is pulling all the strings. And this is called the United States federal government. Every presidents are puppets of these powers that be. There are 43 layers up above the president. So the president cannot declare war or any kind of major things that is not given by the powers that be. The president, every president were given a mission, always created wars, at least every 2 years. Wars on anything. Wars, World War I, World War II, from Gulf War, Iraq War, war on drugs, war on anything. Why is that? Every 2 years a war must be declared, because during the time of President Lincoln, the martial law that Lincoln declared was never lifted, and we became under the law of the Admiralty law. Now if you check the American flag, it has a tassel. That is the symbol of Admiralty law. This is why the presidents always declare war. Iraq war, all presidents have war. Only Obama is the only president that did not declare war. Why is that? Because Obama was awakened. He was awakened and was shown the truth. So therefore, he did not declare war to get this Admiralty law out of power. So without declaring wars within 2 years, the Admiralty law is dissolved. Therefore, the citizens' power is now in effect. So we have the power. Now Obama needs us to wake up to support him so that he can kick out the dark forces that ruled the United States of America. However, he is surrounded by the dark forces and was destroyed by the media news. His capability is not strong. Not a lot of people supported him because the media was used against him through his birth certificate, and they want to impeach him and Muslim this and Muslim that. But President Obama is the only allies that we have that stand up for the people. He gave us our power back. So he has no knowledge of this higher activity, wars going on, because they don't need the president's knowledge on that. When these powers that be, the higher in command, wanted to drop nuclear bomb on us, it is not on the president's knowledge. He will be the last thing to know. If he wants to go inside the Area 51, he can't go. He needs permission to that. But Bush can go, and Romney and Cheney, So let me go back to what really happened and ask the higher realm what happened to flight MH370. So that answer is that when Putin tested his two-pole missile, it was a message for the Western power to show Putin that they are not afraid of this this two-pole missile, that their toy is better than Putin's toy. And to show this power, they have announced the day before the missing fight occurred. The U.S. Navy Department announced that they are now going to test these laser weapons. Okay, it says here on the message here that the Western powers that have been working on a new type of weapon, a laser weapon, indeed that it is called laser weapon system, or LAWS, LAWS, that after the test of the two-pole missile that was done for the benefit of the Western powers, that certain ones in power realize that they must show the Russian and Chinese faction that they are not intimidated by this weapon, for they have something else that would make the two-pole missile obsolete. A weapon that could be used against them. They needed Again, they needed to show this to the Russians, that one of the problems of that system that is known as laws is that unlike the Russian or Chinese Tupolev missile, it has a much reduced field of operation. The loss, indeed, is truly can only be used in a 15-mile radius from a ship that the weapon might be located on. This has to do with the nature of the straight-line laser beam versus the curvature of the planet, and how once the curvature changes that the weapon becomes ineffective and loses its force. They have overcome this problem. The means by which to employ the method of this weapon is no longer confined to operation on a ship or in a land position, but rather can be mounted now. They have produced a weapon that much smaller than previous manifestations of this weapon, for they had versions of this already, but they were too big and had too many problems. But in recent times they did develop a version that is much more compact. It was this prototype that was placed aboard one of the two ships that intercepted the Malaysian airliner, that these were retrograde ships not used by extraterrestrial ones, certainly not the Galactic Federation ones, but also not the Greys or Reptilian or Orion either. It was a technology given by the Orion Reptilian faction to this group that is a secret group that is operating in the US Navy. It is this group that performed this operation, carried this operation out, and it was an electromagnetic pulse beam type weapon along the laser line of the loss weapon that was used. It is why the electrical system went out. It is why the transponders and black boxes were cancelled out. So they were vaporized or damaged, and why there was a damage to the plane, some of the debris falling to the earth. It is this plane was shot down, but not in a traditional way. What happened? Okay, brothers and sisters, two planes appeared on the radar that the higher realm said. So I will show you that in this video here. Where is this video? Two planes appeared on radar. Okay, two planes appeared on radar. Small plane and a big plane.
It was the fastest, stealthiest, and the most advanced tactical fighter the world had seen. It was built in complete secrecy by an elite and determined team of men and women in an amazingly short 44 months. The never-before-told story of Northrop Corporation's YF-23 Black Widow II has been highly classified until now.
So one of that compact weapon was mounted in those kind of planes. This is extraterrestrial technology plane that was given by the Orion Reptilian faction to this secret group of the US Navy to build this. And the other second plane, as big as the Boeing, because this is what they did, the Boeing 1, where is it? Is bigger plane. To show you this. So this is what happened. That's a Boeing. So that radar that shows that the plane went to Indian Ocean, that is not the flight MH370. That is the flight of the other plane. Could it be it's returning to base, to Diego Garcia? No, I'll let your imagination run that. So there's a big cover up on this, and they wanted to delete. So then the fresh news at that time were correct, just like the 9/11. Then later on was manipulated by the media, and all false news are appearing. It's red herrings. So let me go back now. So it is said that this operation was carried out by this secret group of the US Navy. This laser weapon, along with the electromagnetic pulse beam type, is very deadly, and it pointed to this plane here. Let's see that. So it pointed the plane. So the pilots, given their training to avoid the plane. So if you guys will look on YouTube videos about radar flight, you will see that the plane turned left, turned right, and then up disappeared, because it was avoiding the laser attack of this plane, and then dropped to 12,000 feet. And then of course the procedure for pilots, they will put it in automatic pilot. So could it be that they had followed this flight all the way to India, to Vietnam, where 0077, where is, let's find that information about 077, that there are two planes that showed in the radar. I know there are many jets that are scrambling the radar system. So this is the Boeing 747 again.
It is here that a speed of light directed energy weapon provides unique advantages, countering the missile threat during its vulnerable boost phase, and providing track information and cueing to other elements. ABL is a force multiplier for the entire ballistic missile defense system. In 2007, ABL successfully demonstrated one of its most challenging tasks: illuminating, tracking, and propagating an atmospherically compensated beam against a distant target. For this test, a simulated missile, along with an exhaust plume emulator.
So this is to show the Russian that their toys is better than their toys. So they use this the most fast
This unusual project became a
invisible
true
airplane.
human ingenuity.
We had to combine stealth, supercruise, and maneuverability all into a unique design, and that had never been done before in a fighter.
Bravery.
I've never flown a better flight.
So brothers and sisters, let me go back to the message that this plane was shut down, and that is why the black boxes no longer doesn't work, and the transponders no longer working either. That the plane went through the reft. When this plane hit the airliner, it created a reft, a portal. This is the time that the heaven's armies intervene, because in their statement that yes, we are all children of God attending the schools here, and we have contracts of these teachers that we have. However, at that time, it was not in the sole contracts of the crew and passengers to have that, to die at that time. So they are permitted to intervene at that time, because they cannot intervene here and save us all because of our free will. So they're only watching us and make sure that the powers that are trying to war with each other, they are going to intervene. They always said no nukes, no flukes. Okay, no nukes, no nuclear war is going to be allowed. They were going to disable that. So that is why in Ukraine, when this chaos happened, a cigar-sized spaceship appeared, and Putin, that he had his troops there for a drill. He called all his troops back to the base because Putin knows that he cannot challenge the power of the UFOs. So he knows that, so he backed off. So it showed Putin that all the powers here, that no nukes, no flukes. So they intervened at this time and put, when the plane was already damaged also at the back, because there's a plane at the back, the big plane, that 747, trying to vaporize this plane, and the small plane,
laser pointer of maximum
the small plane
power of 5 millimeters,
trying to vaporize this airliner here, the small plane trying to vaporize the airliner.
It was the fastest, stealthiest.
So the pilot had to maneuver and try to avoid the laser. Where I'm at. So when the Heaven's armies, the Galactic Federation of Light, intervened, a portal appeared, the rift appeared, and this is how it looked like.
By constricting space-time in front of the craft while expanding space-time behind.
So now the airline went to this space-time. They had to raise the frequency of the cruise and the airline to keep this plane intact, because it's about to vaporize. Here's the information that the Galactic Federation said. All passengers were relocated to a small planet that is proximate. The same atmosphere and photography and inhabitants are similar in our appearance. When the plane developed serious malfunctions that couldn't be remedied, they shifted it into a higher dimension and set course for that planet, this new planet. They landed in an island. I will show you the looks. Maybe just, it landed in an island, maybe look like Maldives from something like that. So they landed in an island. They said that none of the soul's contracts of the crew and passengers included such an adventure, but neither did not include death at that time. So in cases like this, they are authorized to step in. The unexpected experience was real to them. At this time, the pilots are already down because of that laser attack. The witnesses of the plane, the passengers of the planes, notice it because the plane's abrupt maneuvers, turns that the pilots have done. So they're so real. And then there was no panic at all, because immediately the rescuers from the Galactic Federation used their communication system to tell them on what was transpiring, and the energy of loving explanation created a peaceful acceptance within those people whose future was being redirected. The plane was dematerialized after all had disembarked. They were met by some of their crew members who had taken an Earth body appearances and guide them to their first moments on their new land, and taken to what would call an exclusive resort. It is this starting over point for all Earth souls who are rescued by other civilizations. And these had been many of those occasions in our past centuries. During their first day, the group received a downloading of the only language spoken in that world, their basic knowledge and population. Basic knowledge of the population. It is a simple procedure like working of our computers. You know, we have to download new information on our computer, so they were downloaded that new language. So after their orientation, briefing, and photographic overview of what the region offers, each person was given a choice of various types of living quarters, individual transportation mode, and employment or schooling. Each was given a paper that functions like a ticket to attend all events desired, and plenty of tokens that are used to obtain articles for services. From the resort of all were taken to the quarters. They were taken to their quarters, maybe like this, like this here. So they were taken to their quarters that they choose, and they chosen their mode of private transportation. Their food and all other needs, basic necessities, were provided for housekeeping. So this is like a vacation resort. So just as on Earth life, there is a fulfilling and meaningful life here as each chooses to make it. And then they also said that they couldn't put these people back on Earth. They had to act, that the Galactic Federation had to act fast, but every possible factor was considered. And the only option that was considered was to assure their survival was to put them on this planet. That they couldn't put the plane on the runway because all the communication systems were out. You needed a landing clearance on that. It would create chaos and danger to incoming or departing traffic. So no one could explain that either, and the media were just going to make up new false lies and accuse the good guys as bad guys. So they can't do that. For me, that is how I felt. So also they said that there weren't sufficient provisions in the plane, that mostly the water for all on board to live very long without replenishment, and secluded place. There was no secluded place in our planet that they could put this plane down and guaranteed these people survival until they were found. So so they want to share the message to all that everyone is fine and alive and live in a planet much like ours. However, I believe that everything is energy. They also remind us that the universal law of attraction, that the power of our thoughts. So if billions of us, millions of us, create this wish in our minds, our thoughts, that these people will come back to our timeline in our reality, it could happen. Because it says here that our energy of our thoughts and feelings and actions, it zooms into the universal soup and it boomerangs back of what we thought. So if that is what we thought, then it will return. However, too many of us in this planet, our thoughts are destructive thoughts. They are fear thoughts, war, prejudice, disease, poverty, despair, and we don't like to think about that, but that is in our thought, and it comes back. That is why we have to change our belief. Brothers and sisters, let me go back to the information, to more of this information of what the higher realm has said. That it is seen that this secret agency in the U.S. Navy, contained within the American military, especially the U.S. Navy, is known by of the upper echelon of the powers that be. So, the powers that be are the ones giving the orders of this. So, our President Obama does have no any idea what's going on, because he can only do minor commands, like, you know, in our state, but major decisions are to the powers that be. So it says here that this was a response to the actions of Russia to tell them they are not afraid of their two-pole missile, for they have something now that can cancel it and vaporize it. Okay. The Galactic Federation did intervene because they said, I read it earlier, that they cannot authorize the loss of lives, and it was not in the soul contract at that time that deaths has to occur. That these many vessels, ships like the UFOs that was created here on Earth, given the technology and knowledge was given by the Orion reptilian factions, they are capable of hyper flight and many things, just like the UFO planes, the airplanes. So this weapon, the compact weapon that can be mounted on certain of these ships, it shows Putin, you know, we can mount these in these ships here. They are fast ship, and with the electromagnetic pulse along with the laser
and the most
technology,
tactical fighter, the world.
it will vaporize the two-pole missile. So where I'm at, brothers and sisters, I love you all. I want to say more, but yeah, it's getting longer. So do not be afraid, because there will be chaos coming soon. The financial system will be reset soon. So keep your knowledge, start to research the truth. However, do not be angry or fearful, because you will just feed and energize the dark forces. The three forces of evil here that I call like the highest forces is the Draco monarchy, and then the second is the Orion Empire, which is the Vatican and its tentacles there, the Knights, all kinds of Knights, Knights Templars, Knights Malta, Knights Saint John the Baptist, all kinds of Knights. And then here comes the families of occultists, the Zionist families, and then it expanded to the Committee of 300. So you can check who are the members of the Committee of 300. We are being, the truth is being deprived from us for thousands of years, because this is how they manipulate us and control us. And the Orion Empire was given the management of this planet, the monetary and religion system. So we were controlled by this monetary. We have to work hard, be slave in order to survive and eat. And the religion to keep us blind that there is only one God, which is really their God. And the Son of God is not the only Son of God. There are many children of God, so there's not only one Son of God. My older videos will watch my older videos to let you know of more truths, because this channel is dedicated to shine the lights on both sides, and that is my mission. I know this mission is dangerous, especially this information. However, I'd like to share this information, so this way it will shed the light and time to demand the truth of the hidden powers that are hiding. Our thoughts are very powerful. The collective thoughts are very powerful, and we are governed by the collective thoughts, and that is really sad to think and feel, because we are overpowered by the majority of the negative thoughts, and we are stuck on here. If majority will awaken and wish for love, peace and harmony, and forgive our teachers, because it's only part of learning, then we can move on and shift this planet into a higher dimension. It is the collective thoughts is different from hive minds. Hive minds has no power. They are like insects connected but no power, like a computer connected to the network. They know what you're thinking. They know what you're going to do because you are connected to the network. The collective mind is different because each has power. This is the power of God. I love you all. Namaste. I bow to the divine within each of you.